Kia ora, and welcome to the Beer Jerk Beer of the Week Drink Along. I'm Luke.
And I'm Matt.
And this week we're drinking a beer from our good pals at Whistling Sisters.
Yay, Whistling Sisters!
Whistling Sisters is a fantastic little brew pub right in the middle of Wellington. And they do really good food as well. We often have like different events and stuff going on there, so it's a nice place to go to, even if you're not a fan of beer. But obviously, we go there mainly for the beer, and also to hug Logan. You got to hug him recently, right?
Yeah, twice.
Twice.
Well,
Nice.
well, twice for work, twice for personal reasons.
Okay, lucky.
Yeah. So Whistling Sisters, it's got more of a restaurant vibe than most of the brew pubs that are around. So, like really a focus on some classy high-end food. They have in the past done a bunch of fermentation in their kitchen as well. So stuff like sauerkraut, kimchi, fermented sausage, stuff like that. And so there's some really interesting stuff going on with that. But yeah, it's a brewery that is kind of quietly working away. They've got a few more releases going into can like this now. So it's a brewery that we're hopeful that you're going to see more and more of going forward.
Yeah, and it's a brewery that I think it was started about 5 years ago or thereabouts.
Thereabouts.
Yeah, we should like do some research and remind ourselves before we do the videos. So it was started by a lovely chap called Bede and some of his friends who we haven't really met, have we? I only know Bede and the Brewers. And it was started to honour a loved one who sadly passed away prematurely of cancer. So profits from all Whistling Sisters beers go to the Karen Louisa Foundation that goes towards supporting women and research towards stopping cancer, which is a really wonderful cause. So by drinking this beer of the week, you'll do your little bit towards helping charity. And then the brewers are, so there's a brewer called Padmal, who's the head brewer there, and then his the other brewer is Logan, who we talk about all the time, I feel like, in most of these videos. So Padmal has, we've likely talked about this in a previous Whistling Sisters video, but we're drinking the beers again, so sorry if we're repeating it. So Padmal's got an amazing history. He started brewing in his homeland of Sri Lanka. And then he brewed in India for a while, and then he went to train to become a Master Brewer in Bavaria.
So Master Brewer is actually I think, again, this might be something we've talked about before, but it's actually a very serious and high-level qualification in the brewing industry. I think particularly in kind of journalism and marketing blurb, the term our Master Brewer or our Brewmaster gets thrown around quite a lot. But Master Brewer is actually a really prestigious qualification that you can achieve. And I believe there's only a couple of Master Brewers in New Zealand. Padmal being one, our friend Albrecht from Riverhead Cottage Brewery is another. But it's a really kind of prestigious mark of some classical training. And it comes through in the way that he brews. There's a real focus on technique and getting everything just right, kind of carefully monitoring fermentation, and really a thorough overview of the process from end to end, and a really kind of good scientific basis behind that as well.
Yeah, and I think he brewed in Australia as well, and I think he brewed in, was it Hong Kong?
Yeah, but he's brewed all over the world. At all kinds of different scales as well. So I think for Padmal, Whistling Sisters is probably on the smaller end of the operations that he's worked for.
Yeah.
But he's brewed for some of the giants in kind of multi-million-dollar facilities, and he's a really lovely and experienced guy.
But yeah, he's not really the sort of person that you see around. Occasionally we'll see him behind the taps at a beer festival at a Whistling Sisters stand. But he's definitely not a sort of a huge personality in the beer scene. He's sort of quite reserved chap that just really, really knows his stuff. And that works perfectly with Logan, he's not a brewmaster, but he's been brewing for several years now.
Yeah.
And you first worked together at Brothers, right?
Yeah. So Logan walked into Brothers when I was managing City Works, all fresh-faced. And frothing about beer, and got a good vibe and hired him on the spot. and then he transitioned from running one of the brothers' venues to working a bit in the brewery before he moved to Wellington and picked up at Whistling Sisters, where he's really taken that brewing role full time and doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, so a super enthusiastic, really knowledgeable young brewer that just really brings the froth. Just the research that he puts into his beers is really impressive.
Yeah, we had a great time. He handmade all the candy sugar for the Small Gods Belgian triple, the triple pepper triple made from other Crone that we brewed with Padmal and Logan again. A bunch of handmade Belgian candy sugar from Logan went into that, which was really cool. This time what they've done for us is they've brewed a strawberry sour. And strawberry, I find, is something that is a really hard flavour to get across in beer. It's something that gets lost really easily, and as a result, doesn't get brewed with very much because it's such a delicate flavour that it really takes a lot of work to get that to sing. And you do really get the strawberry character coming through in this beer.
Yeah, so locally grown strawberries. So I don't know whereabouts. They were grown near Wellington.
Locally?
Yeah, locally, in the region. And strawberry comes to really nice. There's just a really nice sort of presentation, really nice sort of pale looks this beer, and it's not overly tart. It's not. I've been finding that to my taste at any rate, I've been finding that some kettle sours I've drank recently are a bit too on the sort of acidic side for me.
Yeah, well, I tend to find the exact opposite of what Luke just said. I find that a lot of kettle sours are a little insipid and kind of leaning on the sweet side and don't really kind of cut through, particularly the sweeter sours that use lactose. I feel like you really need to bump up that tartness to get me there. But I'm the kid who is just constantly jamming sour lollies and eating lemons, so I definitely favour that flavour profile. But this probably sits nicely in the middle. I find
it's a real nice balance.
Yeah. It's properly tart. There's some sweetness there that cuts through. But it's not over the top. It's not insipid. So
it's not overly sweet. It's not cloying.
Yeah, but they've done a really good job of kind of nailing that kind of sweet, sour, fruity balance. Got real fruit character, a good level of tartness without it being too puckering for all you wimps who can't handle it. And not too much sweetness where kind of some of it does. I feel like it uses lactose, does it? No lactose. No. So that sweetness is all from the malt base, which is cool. Which is probably why it's not too cloying. But it does retain a bit of sweetness there, which is it's nice to keep the beer with balance.
I think if you train for a high-level qualification in brewing in Bavaria, you have to sign a waiver that says you'll never use lactose in any of your beers. So yeah, that probably explains that.
Mission to go. You get to use some lactose in the beer now. I don't know if they ever have, but a really nice example of a fruited sour, done really well by a lovely team. So if you're in Wellington, it's on the corner of Ghuznee and Taranaki Street, right in the centre of the city. So go get a tasting flight. The tasting paddles are beautiful, and a feed, and you can watch Padmal and Logan work through the big window that's in the restaurant, so you can spy on what they're up to.
And we worked with them just recently as Small Gods, so we brewed another table beer.
Beer?
Yeah, the next beer in our round table series to follow up from Galahad. So you were down there checking on that last week, and it's all going to plan, it seems?
Yeah, I did. So I popped down to Wellington for a couple of days to brew yet another Small Gods beer, and that we'll tell you about in the future. But yeah, I had a chance to pop in and see how all their beers are tasting on tap. Nice 8:30 in the morning tasting of 5 different beers.
Brilliant.
Got served everything up on my way to a brew day. So our next table beer in the series, we'll talk to you a bit more about it when the time comes. Leaning a little more on a kind of a saison use character, kind of more a kind of different spice profile, and going a bit more citrusy on the hops. We've used the modern German hops that don't get a lot of attention in comparison to New Zealand and American hops in particular. We've kind of gone for that kind of halfway between the kind of classic noble hop with a bit more of a citrus note to it. So again, 3.2%, and that's going to be coming out in about 2 months. What's the date? A month.
At a point in the future.
1st of June, something like that. Time is meaningless. So we're really excited about that. And they've got some beautiful tasting beers in the tank. They're English bitter, which we previously had as a beer of the week, so many of you will have tried. They've just tweaked the recipe on that. They've played with the toffee and the malt base, played with the bitterness a little bit, and that's tasting fantastic. Just really top notch. It was good before, but they've really kind of dialed it in now. So if you see any cans of their bitter floating around, it's a different recipe from what you will have tried in the box, so pick up some of that. They've got a dry stout on the way. They're working on an APA. Lots of cool stuff going on at the brewery, so definitely some stuff to watch there.
We've been pretty busy here, so we just had the mini Fresh Hop Festival at the weekend at the Fridge of Flagon, which was brilliant. We had some really, really excellent examples in a variety of styles of different fresh hop beers.
Yeah, so we leaned a bit away from the bulk of the beers that are coming out fresh hop with your hazies and IPAs. Well, we did have a couple on. We wanted to showcase some of the different styles that people are doing with fresh hop. So we had an English red ale, a red IPA, fresh hop saison from Bootleg, and then a couple of IPAs as well, because it's really the hallmark of the style, so you've got to have a couple. But so if you're wanting to see some of the fresh IPAs that didn't make it into our fresh IPA box, you can come down and check out the tap line of the Flagon.
Yep, still got a few on.
And if you haven't got your fresh hop box yet, they are shipping right now. If you're hearing things clattering around in the background, it is Joe putting beers in boxes.
So here are all the fresh hop boxes that are going to be winging their way to people this afternoon. Hey Joe.
Some of the imports that we've got going on at the moment. We have got our Deeds mix case available right now on the online store, and it is a fantastic box. It's got 2 Imperial Stouts in it, 2 hazy triple IPAs, got an Italian Pilsner, a session hazy. Why are you taking it away while I'm talking?
Maybe they can still hear you.
Yeah, it's got a sour and a pale ale in there as well. So a really beautiful selection from Deeds, all in 440s. And it's an absolute bargain at $88, that mixed case, with all those kind of 10% plus beers in there, and some hazies from one of Australia's most hype breweries. Now there's a sign in the way.
So we should have put this up earlier.
We should have.
Signage.
Yeah. And in the meantime, we've also got a new shipment from Moondog that's just due to land with us at any minute. So if a truck pulls up, that's probably it. So we've got a couple of exciting mixed cases coming out from that. So keep an eye out for that in the next week.
On Saturday morning, we're doing the Beer Jerk Run Club half marathon, which is going to be just a really sort of low-key fun time. There aren't going to be road closures and pace setters. It's just going to be a pretty informal marathon, running the routes that we do for our half marathon, that we do for our normal Beer Jerk Run Club, but multiple times. And there's also going to be a 10k version if you don't feel like running 21 point something kilometers. And we'll drink a few beers in the afternoon. So we're printing up some t-shirts, especially for people that enter the marathon. You get a free beer included in your ticket, and it's going to be rad. So that's this Saturday. So act fast if you want to grab a ticket for that, and you can find that on our website.
Perfect for masochists.
Yeah, I'm not going to be running sadly because I broke my foot, but I'm looking forward to sitting and drinking beers all afternoon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to sitting and drinking beers all afternoon as well. I don't run because I don't know myself.
Well, thanks for joining us for another instalment of the Beer of the Week Drink Along. Hope you enjoy this strawberry kettle sour from the awesome people at Whistling Sisters. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Cheers. Does it always have to be a fucking shambles?